Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon.
Time is 10 a.m.
And a good morning. Thank you for tuning into the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Dory, and I'm here with Melissa, and we invite you to listen to our broadcasts both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel Monday through Friday between 10 a.m. and noon each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. And we'll start off with this article from the Springfield Daily Citizen. AMC Springfield 11 is temporarily closed due to a water main leak. The AMC website highlights that the theater is, quote, temporarily closed for unforeseen maintenance. And what follows is a picture of the theater at 3200 East Montclair Street, and the company reporting that water main leak, and there is a Plumrite truck parked in front, obviously working on that problem. AMC Springfield 11 in Southeast Springfield is closed due to a water main leak, according to a sign posted on the locked doors of the business May 26 yesterday. The sign reads, "Theater closed due to water main leak." On a separate posted sign at the movie theater located at 3200 East Montclair Street, the company said all online tickets will be automatically refunded and customers with physical tickets will be given passes on a later date. The AMC website highlights that the theater is, quote, temporarily closed for unforeseen maintenance. AMC theaters did not immediately respond to requests for comment for this story. City Utilities of Springfield determined that the leak is on the customer-owned property and the leak doesn't involve any CU infrastructure. Communications Manager Jamie Presley said in an email to the Daily Citizen. The property that houses AMC Springfield 11 has just over 48,000 square feet and was owned by Agree Atlantic Beach LLC, according to Greene County Tax Assessor's Office records. The property was purchased in 2018 and appraised at approximately $7 million. And also from the Springfield Business Journal, Kehoe is requesting disaster assistance for that hailstorm here in Greene County. Governor Mike Kehoe is seeking federal aid for the recent hailstorm. Kehoe issued a request for individual and public assistance through the Federal Emergency Management Agency, according to a news release. Hailstone in Springfield, as we remember, April 28th, was confirmed to be 4.75 inches in diameter, the largest hail on record in Springfield or Greene County. Last week, local, state, federal assessment teams documented the high level of destruction and significant response costs that were a result of this severe weather system, which included at least 8 confirmed tornadoes and softball-sized hail in some areas, Kehoe said in the May 22nd release. Damage in Greene County alone surpassed the total state threshold to qualify for federal disaster assistance. When the damage in all the other counties is included, the total is triple Missouri's damage threshold and beyond the capacity of these hard-hit communities to meet without federal assistance. Joint preliminary damage assistant estimates more than $36 million in damages for Greene County and multiple others that had recent destructive storms. According to the release, Missouri's per capita threshold for public assistance is $11.9 million. Springfield Public Schools alone sustained roughly $15 million in damages, according to past reporting.
This is the Springfield Daily Citizen poking around. Trash left in front yard in Woodland Heights upsets residents. Neighborhood Association is on it. Becky Volz is president of the Woodland Heights Neighborhood Association. She was recognized as Citizen of the Year by the Springfield Daily Citizen on Tuesday, May 19th. It's good to see that she's clearly not resting on her laurels. There's a picture here of the house, and the couch is full of trash, cushions, clothes. David Morrison tells me he has complained to the city for at least a month about trash left in the front yard of what he believes is the only remaining nearby home not owner-occupied. The city has been slow to respond, he tells me, which makes his old suspicions creep to the surface that there is a bias in services when comparing South Springfield, where things get done, to North Springfield, where things don't. He lives in the 2100 block of North Main Avenue in the Woodland Heights neighborhood. It bothers me because it feels like when stuff happens on the north side, the city doesn't really care, he says. I feel like that if this was in the Southern Hills or down south of Battlefield, it wouldn't fly. It would be gone the next day. I have a friend that lived on Long Pine just outside of Southern Hills, he tells me. They went on vacation for about a week, and when they came back, the grass was about at their ankle, and they already had a sign in their yard from the city about the grass. That's just my perspective. It might not be true, but that's my perspective. They have a picture here of Morrison's in front of his house. I called her to talk about the trash, and she's looking at the trash as we speak. Let's cut to the chase. On Friday, I called Becky Volz, president of Woodland Heights Neighborhood Association, who on Tuesday was named Citizen of the Year at the annual Springfield Daily Citizen's Distinguished Citizens Award. Funny that you're calling me right now, she tells me. I'm standing right in front of it. We'll have volunteers that will come by, load everything up on the trailer. We'll bag what needs to be bagged because there's a lot of loose stuff. Stuffed animal, trash, cups. By 10 a.m. Saturday, May 23rd, the trash will be gone, she says. We've got a team of volunteers doing some cleanup on multiple different properties, she says. I have several sofas, lots of mattresses and chairs sitting on curbs, she adds. Where do you get the truck or the trailer? We have an amazing amazing neighbor who has an excavating company, she says. He has a trailer and a skid steer. There's Miss Volt standing in front of the house. Who pays to dispose of these items at the landfill? The neighborhood association? You? I have a voucher from the city to go to the landfill, she says. The city is very generous. From time to time, we can get vouchers for the landfill. Public Works makes those available to us. He assumed owner would come back later that day to haul away trash. Nope. Morrison told me the owner of the house across the street came by a month ago with a truck and trailer and cleaned out the house and put the trash all in the front yard. Morrison assumed the owner would come back later in the day to haul it away, but he did not come back later in the day. He has not come back for the trash at all. According to Greene County property records, the owner is Justin Reed, who apparently lives in Bella Vista, Arkansas. When I visited the house, it had a lock on the front door, the type used by real estate agents. Here's a picture here of the house with the padlock on there. I asked Volts, does the owner of the house get away with this? Typically, I will reach out to whoever the landlord is, she says. If I have a text number, I'll text them. I've been known to do that, and if we can't reach them, we just get rid of it. We do our best. Sometimes it takes a few weeks because we're all volunteers and we've got to coordinate our time and vehicles. He says he was treated rudely when he went to the city. Morrison tells me the neighborhood has improved immensely since 2018 when he moved to North Main. I plugged the address of the empty house where the trash was left on Springfield News-Leader archives and discovered that a man was shot there in 2014 and died later at a hospital. Morrison said he went to the Bush Municipal Building weeks ago to complain and was treated rudely. He told me that a woman there told him that the city had received no complaints and that will likely take 18 months to take care of the trash. I contacted the city for its response. Christian Milliam, spokesperson for the city, responded via email. The city received one complaint for trash at the reference property, 2126 North Main, on Friday, May 15th. Building Development Services inspected and created a nuisance case on Monday, May 18th, and posted it. It is scheduled to be re-inspected on May 29th. If the property is still in violation, an abatement notice and order will be sent and posted, giving the property owner 10 days to request a hearing, or the order will be finalized and the property scheduled to be cleaned by a city contractor, while also costs to be assessed and sent to Greene County as part of the taxes. According to Morrison, it's the way he was treated that irks him. My wife is telling me I'm making too big of a deal out of this, he says. Maybe if the woman at the office had not been so rude to me, I would not have gotten all bent out of shape. A reputation for getting things done. Volt tells me she's also complained to the city about the trash. It's just there must be a lot going on with the Building Development Services, she says. What we do when we have this kind of thing happen is we give it time and look for the landlord to dispose of it like they're supposed to do. And when they don't, we report it to Building Development Services and to the City Citizen Resource Center. The Resource Center email is city@springfieldmo.gov and the phone is 417-864-1010. There's a picture here of Miss Volts. Woodland Heights, Becky Volts, was named Citizen of the Year Tuesday, May 19th, 2026 at the Springfield Daily Citizen's third Distinguished Citizens Award reception in Springfield. Her award is Tom Carson, Chairman and Publisher of the Daily Citizen. In closing, here's part of the May 4th story colleague Joe Housdale wrote about Volts. For more than a decade, Volts has earned a reputation for helping people with grace and tenacity, whether it's addressing one person's needs or mobilizing larger neighborhood projects. From helping people improve their homes to organizing new events and even serving on the citywide neighborhood initiatives, Volts has earned a reputation for getting things done. It's good to see that our Citizen of the Year definitely is not resting on her laurels. This is Poking Around, column number 355 by Steve Pokin. Steve Pokin writes the Poking Around and the Answer Man columns for the Springfield Daily Citizen. He also writes about criminal justice issues. He can be reached at spoken at sgfcitizens.org. His office line is 417-837-3661.
And from the Springfield News-Leader, councilmen criticized the Springfield mayor's alternative plan for transit. A couple of key points here. A Springfield councilman has accused the mayor of creating less cohesive governance at City Hall. The disagreement stems from differing proposals on how to improve the city's public transit system. Councilman Brandon Jensen's original plan included development and land use, which Mayor Jeff Schrag's alternative removed. Springfield has had a new mayor for a year, and one councilman has made accusations that the change in leadership has resulted in less cohesive governance at City Hall. Councilman Brandon Jensen spoke critically of Mayor Jeff Schrag at a special Springfield City Council meeting last night, Tuesday, May 26th. The comments came within the context of discussions about how the city should approach the future of public transit. An initial referral, largely crafted by Jensen, was overhauled by Schrag in early May in a move that Jensen describes as, quote, politically palatable no to transit improvements. Operated by city utilities, the bus is one of the few transit systems in the nation operated through a municipal utility company rather than a regional transit authority. In the original referral, submitted in October, Jensen proposed creating a new committee made up of council members, representatives from city utilities, transit users, and employers who benefit from transit in order to identify funding for the Transit Master Plan's medium-term recommendations and to align incentives and land use with the proposed Bus Rapid Transit BRT route. Schrag turned this proposal on its head with an alternative referral that would instead send the topic solely to council committees and hire a consultant to create a, quote, best practice framework, leaving out the land use and incentive piece from Jensen's version. Schrag posed his proposal as a way to prioritize focus on the funding aspects of achieving better transit. Jensen, who objected to Schrag's referral at the Tuesday meeting, said that approach would leave a key piece, development around transit corridors, unaddressed. He previously noted that density and development patterns go hand in hand with transit infrastructure. We're looking at the cost of doing something without also looking at the benefit of what it's going to bring, Jensen said. Yes, funding is absolutely critical for it. But if we do not pair that with, here's what it will make our community look like, it's not going to go anywhere. We'll do the work, but then we're not going to be able to stand up in front of the community and clearly articulate how this is going to change our community for the better. Jensen has continuously advocated for transit and for transit to be considered as a factor in other issues the city deals with. At the Tuesday meeting, he shared personal connections to transit and noted that the public asset means those in poverty can save money by foregoing car expenses, the elderly and those with disabilities are better connected and have more opportunities, and young professionals are more likely to stick around. The councilman also emphasized that the availability and reliance on transit is vital for the city's employers and workforce to thrive. Quote, upskilling and training are certainly important elements that we dedicate time and resources to, but just as important is workers' ability to get in the door of the workplace, Jensen said. Land use and involving developers in the transit corridor discussions, Jensen said, was an important piece to making alternative transportation investments successful. He used the recently completed Grant Avenue Parkway project as an example. The project focused on pedestrian and cyclist connectivity, which has also attracted new housing developments and plans for additional commercial development to that corridor. Schrag indicated he felt that portion of the proposal was, quote, a bridge too far at the May 5th meeting. On Tuesday, Councilman Bruce Adibiazi said Springfield needs to make more bold moves in order to grow, and incremental adjustments can always be made backwards if needed. He noted that other council priorities identified by council members late last year, such as housing strategy, development processes, and economic vitality, are all, quote, completely inextricably tied to transit. While Yadzi also favored bringing more voices to the table, And including stakeholders early on in the transit discussion process, others disagreed. Councilman Derek Lee said CU's Connect SGF Transit Study already covered that engagement piece. Other council members said policy work that has come out of committees has engaged the public and stakeholders thoroughly and would not be any different with the transit topic. Beyond trying to win over his colleagues to support his vision for the steps the city should take, Jensen argued that the city governmental body had not been at its best recently. He said council had lost trust with the community, particularly with Springfield voters rejecting a lodging tax increase for a convention center twice and with each other. Jensen noted there have been more 5-4 votes in the past year and encouraged the group in the future to table substitute bills that are submitted at the last minute instead of going through committee processes. Schrag recently did this with a campaign finance limit bill that had been discussed in committee for months. Quote, over the last year, we have not been functioning to our best, Jensen said. With the number of 5-4 votes and 11th hour substitute bills over the last year, this body is acting more like big P politicians of Jeff City and Washington, D.C., and less like the small p policy makers that our city needs. As part of his alternative proposal, Schrag presented to council a white paper with a scope of services for the consultant and a drafted memorandum of understanding between the city and CU regarding the consultant's work. Jensen shared criticism for the contract, with CU being sent to the city manager to sign before council had the opportunity to weigh in. He shared email correspondence between CU and city manager David Cameron that insinuated the city manager was expected to sign the document. Although Schrag said that would never have happened because council's direction is required for the city manager to execute such an agreement. Jensen said CU indicated to him that the contract was created in coordination with the mayor, and Schrag had requested the contract to be sent to Cameron for signature. Jensen also said Schrag had told him that transit will not be a priority and, quote, that it is the mayor's job to tell council members no more often than in the past. Schrag did not address his accusation during the meeting, but reached by the News-Leader last night, said the priority comment came from the, quote, results of a council retreat during which transit was not voted to be a standalone priority. However, in discussions, council members indicated transit would dovetail with any strategic growth strategy. Schrag said the comment made about the mayor saying, quote, no was accurate and noted that it is one of the many roles the mayor serves. He said the mayor is typically a sounding board for council members' ideas, but said that usually happens in private. When it comes to 5-4 votes, Schrag said he is comfortable with those votes and highlighted that in instances where he has submitted substitute bills outside of the regular process, those pieces of legislation have received strong support from council members with greater consensus than some 5-4 votes. He noted that if the process has not resulted in a strong enough fix, it's never too late to find the right solution. Overall, Schrag said he was disappointed in Jensen's comments, called them inflammatory and inaccurate in nature. He emphasized the need to bring the cost of transit improvements front and center in the discussions. Quote, everyone supports transit until they see how expensive it is, Schrag said. Since taking office in April of 2025, Schrag has placed a greater emphasis on sending every piece of legislation going through council committees and has stated that the mayor is an ex officio member of every committee, quote, though he has not served in that capacity broadly. Ultimately, the transit topic was referred to the Finance and Administration Committee, which is chaired by Jensen, as something of a compromise. Schrag's proposal would have split the work between this committee and the Community Involvement Committee, which Jensen is not a part of, and which has already been tasked with considering several large topics, such as tenants' right to counsel. While previously Jensen had made comments that the consultant's work would only package information already largely available from CU's Connect SGF master plan and other city and local transportation partner data, he said it would allow committee members to get familiar with the topic faster. While hesitant, Jensen voted in support of the referral. CU has already selected the consultant Olson. One headline here read, Hotel of Terror, a byline rather, reaches agreement to sell and avoid referendum election. CU has already selected the consultant Olson, which had completed its transit study 2 years ago. The consultant work, which will cost nearly $33,000, evenly split between the city and CU, and will take 12 weeks to complete. According to information provided to the News-Leader by city staff and CU, in 2025, transit in total cost $15.4 million, with $9.1 million coming from local funding. In comparison, public works expenses on streets and roads, which include sidewalks and trails, total more than $40.3 million, $26.1 million of which was used for capital improvements.
This is the Springfield News-Leader. Forsyth Army officer killed in World War II, identified after 80 years. U.S. Army First Lieutenant Robert P. Aikman a Missouri native killed during World War II, has been formally accounted for more than 8 decades after his death, according to a community announcement from the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency. Aikman, 40, of Forsyth, Missouri, was declared accounted for April 2, 2025, following forensic analysis of remains recovered from a mass grave in what is now Taiwan. His family recently received a full briefing on the identification, allowing additional details to be publicly released. Aikman served with Battery D, 1st Battalion, 59th Coastal Artillery Corps, and was captured during the Japanese invasion of the Philippines in 1942. He remained a prisoner of war until 1944, when Japanese forces attempted to transport Allied POWs to Japan aboard the transport ship Oryoku Maru. Unaware that POWs was on board, U.S. carrier-based aircraft attacked the vessel, which later sank in Subic Bay. After multiple land and sea transfers, Aikman was transported aboard another ship, the Honora Maru, to Taiko, Formosa, now known as Kongjiang, Taiwan. Japanese records reported that Aikman died January 9, 1945, when the U.S. forces sank the Honora Maru. He was officially declared non-recoverable on August 31, 1949. Recovery and identification. Following World War II, the American Graves Registration Command searched for missing U.S. service members. In May of 1946, recovery teams exhumed a mass grave at Taiku containing the remains of 391 individuals. Due to severe commingling, the remains could not be identified and were buried as unknown in Honolulu. Between October of 2022 and July of 2023, the Defense POW and MIA Accounting Agency distinguished the remains associated with the Honora Maru for renewed analysis. Scientists used dental and anthropological evidence, circumstantial data, and multiple forms of DNA testing, including mitochondrial, nuclear, and autosomal DNA, to identify Aikman's remains. Aikman's name appears on the walls of the missing at the Manila American Cemetery in the Philippines. A rosette will be placed next to his name to indicate he has been accounted for. Burial planned in hometown. Aikman was scheduled to be buried May 22, 2026 in Forsyth. More information about the Defense Department's mission to account for missing service members is available at the DPAA website at dpaa.mil or on social media at facebook.com, DODPAA, linkedin.com, company/DODPAA, Instagram.com, DODPAA, or X.com, DODPAA. This story was created by Dave DeMille at Gannett.com, with the assistance of artificial intelligence. Journalists was involved in every step of the way, information gathering, review, editing, and publishing process.
And from the Springfield Business Journal, we see a blueprint of plans by East Division Development LLC, which would put a 510-unit planned development on a currently undeveloped 48-acre site. The headline, City Files Response to Cooper Estates Resident Lawsuit over East Division Development. The City of Springfield has launched a response to a lawsuit filed by residents of a neighborhood that would put a proposed Northeast Springfield development. The Cooper Estates Property Owners Association filed a lawsuit against the City of Springfield in April, seeking an injunction to halt a 510-unit planned development on 48 acres at 3830 East Division Street. The residents maintain in the petition that the Springfield City Council approval is not aligned with the Forward SGF Comprehensive Plan, which does not permit large multi-story apartment buildings in the residential traditional place type. Plans by developer East Division Development LLC include a mix of houses, duplexes, townhomes, and 10 three-story apartment buildings, according to past Springfield Business Journal reporting. On May 18th, the city of Springfield filed its answer to the property owner's petition. As is typical for civil cases, the filing provides a paragraph-by-paragraph response to the original complaint, in some instances admitting statements and in others spelling out differences. As one example, in its 15th paragraph, the original complaint says the property was annexed into the city in 2025 and zoned for low-density residential development, and the city's response admits that the annexation occurred, but denies the characterization of its zoning classification. The plaintiffs cite Missouri law as saying zoning decisions, quote, shall be made in accordance with the comprehensive plan. The city's response admits that the quoted language appears in the revised statutes of Missouri, but it denies that the term comprehensive plan, as used in the statute, refers to the Forward SGF comprehensive plan. The Cooper Estates neighbor's complaint quotes Forward SGF as designating the target property as a residential neighborhood traditional place type and says it defines the place type as post-war. I'm sorry, I lost my place there. I had a little glitch in the computer. That contained predominantly single-family detached buildings with uniform setbacks, building designs, and parcel sizes. The city's response maintains that the quoted material is incomplete. The city's response also denies the claims in the paragraphs that follow. Included in the denial are claims that Forward SGF allows only limited low-intensity multi-family uses like duplexes and triplexes within a, quote, residential neighborhood, traditional, place type. That large multi-story apartment buildings are not permitted in the place type by Forward SGF, and that neighborhoods, including Cooper Estates, that surround the proposed development are similarly designed under the place type and contain no comparable multi-story apartment structures of any kind. The city also denies the claim that the proposed apartment buildings are, quote, substantially greater in height, mass, and density than any residential structure in Cooper Estates or the immediately adjacent neighborhoods. The city also denies multiple limitations of the developer's traffic study claimed by the plaintiff group, while Springfield's counsel Christopher Homan admits a list of factors that the city's land development code requires to be considered with rezoning applications, among them consistency with the comprehensive plan, compatibility with surrounding uses, traffic impact, and public input. It denies the allegation that it did not adequately evaluate or apply these factors prior to greenlighting the development. The Cooper Estates residents' lawsuit seeks declaratory judgment, stating that City Council's approval of the development violates state law and the city's own land development code, the former because it does not conform with the comprehensive plan, and the latter because required zoning factors were not evaluated, were misapplied, or were unsupported by evidence. It asks that the ordinance permitting the development be declared unlawful. It also seeks a declaratory judgment. The suit also seeks an injunction to prevent the development. Online information through the Missouri Court's website does not list any upcoming hearings in the case. The attorney for the Cooper Estates resident group is Brian Fisher of Neal & Newen, LLP.
This is the Springfield News-Leader. National Holocaust Exhibition brings traveling display to Springfield. This is by David DeMille. The Springfield Greene County Library District has been selected as one of 50 U.S. libraries nationwide to host Americas and the Holocaust, a traveling exhibition from the United States Holocaust Museum and the American Library Association, according to a community announcement. The exhibition will be on display from June 15th through July 27th in the Library Center Reading Room and will be accompanied by a series of related public programs, according to the announcement. Based on a special exhibition of the same name in Washington, D.C., the traveling display explores how Americans responded to Nazism, war, and genocide in Europe during the 1930s and 40s. The exhibition examines the roles of the U.S. government, the military, refugee aid organizations, the media, and general public. There's a picture here on the walls, Americas, and then there's readings below. What did Americans know? What more could Americas have been done? What more could have been done? The 1,100 square foot exhibition draws on primary source materials from the 1930s and 40s to highlight actions taken by Americans during the rise of Nazism and the Holocaust. According to the announcement, the exhibition challenges the assumption that Americans were largely unaware of or inactive during the persecution and murder of Jews. The exhibition also examined how the Great Depression, isolationism, xenophobia, racism, anti-Semitism influenced Americans' responses to events unfolding in Europe, according to the announcement. American and the Holocaust previously toured 50 libraries nationwide from 2021 to 2023 and is traveling to an additional 50 libraries from 2024 to 2026, reaching locations from Hawaii and Alaska to Texas and New Hampshire, according to the announcement. More information about the exhibition and related programming is available at thelibrary.org. Additional details about the exhibition can be found at ushmm.org. The Springfield Greene County Library District is a 10-branch system serving Greene County, Missouri. For more information, visit thelibrary.org or contact Community Relations Director Vicki Hicks at 417-616-0564 or Vicki H at thelibrary.org.
And from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Airport is announcing a longtime leader as their new director. Springfield Branson National Airport will soon have a new director, though it's someone familiar with the Queen City and its growing travel hub. The city and the airport announced yesterday, Tuesday, May 26th, that Dave Schomburg has been hired as the Director of Aviation. Schomburg has served as the Assistant Director of Aviation Operations and Maintenance since 2017. He'll take on that top role starting June 28th, according to a city news release. In his current role, Schomburg has overseen operations, airfield and faculty maintenance, capital improvement programming, and security. And we see a picture of a very happy Mr. Schomburg in suit and tie, who will be taking over as the Director of Aviation, as we mentioned, at the end of June. The new hire comes as Brian Weiler, who has served as Director of Aviation since 2011, announced in February his plan to retire this summer. According to the release, Schomburg's salary will be $220,000. For comparison, Weiler was paid roughly $271,600 in total taxable wages in 2025, according to records obtained by the News-Leader. Quote, Dave is first class in his experience, knowledge, and commitment to excellence, said Bill Hammett, Airport Board Chair, in the release. He has a passion for aviation and a spirit of collaboration with community stakeholders, which make him an ideal leader to guide the Springfield Branson National Airport forward. Prior to working in Springfield, Schomburg served as the airport manager of Denton Enterprises Airport in Texas and assistant manager of airport operations at Kansas City International Airport. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Aviation Science from College of the Ozarks and is a licensed private pilot. He's also the president of the Great Lakes chapter of American Association of Airport Executives. Schomburg is also immediate past president of the Missouri Airport Managers Association and past chair of the Missouri State Aviation Council. Quote, having grown up in the Ozarks, I am thrilled to be able to build upon the foundation in place, ensuring that the airport continues to serve our community, our partners, and our passengers with our exceptional team, SGF, he said in the release. The airport has continued to see growth in yearly visitors, setting a new record for passenger numbers for the third consecutive year in 2025. That's also meant the airport is in need of upgrades, which have included a flooring project and an automated exit lane.
This is the Springfield Daily Citizen. Persimmon Hill farm owners live the big city life. Now they're happy supplying the Ozarks with blueberries. There's a picture here. The little bear and the muffin. Welcome. Been waiting on you. Farm entrance. Says Persimmon Hill Berry Farm. On early summer mornings in Lampe, Missouri, families flock to Persimmon Hill Farm. The laughter and the chatter of children fill the field. With buckets tied around their waists, people pluck fresh blueberries, some still cloaked in the dew, off the vine. If they keep at it long enough, the tips of their fingers turn bluish purple. Persimmon Hill has attracted generations of families. It is not the only U-pick farm in the area, but it stood the test of time and garnered legions of followers, particularly because of its signature Thunder Muffins. These oversized blueberry muffins are tender and spongy on the inside, bursting with berries and dusted with the kiss of cinnamon sugar on top. Many customers say these are the best blueberry muffins they've ever tried. They sell 1,000 a day in high season, says Martha Boner, who owns the farm with her husband, Ernie. There's a picture here of these delicious big blueberry muffins with the cinnamon sugar on them. Just makes you want to bite one. They bake another 300 blueberry cinnamon rolls at their farm bakery and also sell cobbler, scones, and a line of jarred and bottled items. You'll sometimes find specialty items like blueberry bread pudding or blueberry banana bread. The Barners started the farm in 1982. It's 80 acres, but not all in production. He's from Springfield, and she hails from South Carolina. Martha has a degree in journalism and planned to be a health reporter. She ended up working for the CDC. Ernie has a master's degree in public health. Before settling to Ozarks, they lived in Kansas City, Seattle, and Atlanta. We really wanted to come back to this area and a different lifestyle, she says. When I lived in Atlanta, it took me 90 minutes to go 9 miles to work. I could deal with it for a little while. Ernie loved the outdoors. He didn't just like the desk job. He wanted to do something that combined his love of outdoors with his expertise. So he started studying horticulture with the idea of coming back here and opening a berry farm. There's a picture here of their berry tree with a bucket full of berries. They're both foodies, adore fresh fare, and love you pick farms. When they moved back and bought the farm, he started developing it while she landed jobs at the area newspapers. Martha spent the next decade at various papers. Then she joined the public relations team at Silver Dollar City and stayed there 24 years until she retired in 2019. Now they work together on the farm. We spoke to her about the evolution of the farm, the products they sell, and of course, those legendary Thunder Muffins. In the kitchen, questions and answers with Martha Boner. There's a picture of her here. Nice, pretty smile on her face. She's got a bandana, white bandana on her head, wearing a blue shirt. And of course, got the little cameras and trees in the background. Question, how many blueberries do you have? Just blueberries. We have 11 varieties. That is about 10,000 plants. We also grow elderberries, blackberries, gooseberries, and shiltake mushrooms. We make products with elderberries. People pick the gooseberries. The elderberries we harvest to make elderberry juice, syrup, elderberry jelly, and elderberry lemonade. We also make elderberry flower cordials. When did you add jams and other products? When we first started, it was just you pick blueberries. After a couple of years, we started making jams. We used a French restaurant kitchen at night. We would go in at 11 p.m. until 3 a.m. You have to have a commercial kitchen to do that. When we felt like the interest was there, we started building a commercial kitchen. We added products, shit-take mushroom sauce, blueberry jam, blackberry jam, raspberry jam. We make 3 kinds of syrup, blueberry amaretto, and blueberry maple. We added blueberry lemonade that we make in bottles in a cooler for sale. Here's a picture here of the jams. There's a peach jam, a raspberry jam, strawberry jam, pomegranate jam. What does this season look like? It looks good. The late March frost hit our earliest variety. We have 11 varieties in varying degrees of ripening for that reason. They open for limited picking May 21st. Check Facebook daily for picking updates. Question, you're famous for Thunder Muffins. Did you hire someone to create those, or where did they get the recipe? Where did you get the recipe? We developed the recipe. There was a friend of ours who made wonderful blueberry muffins. We took her recipe, and what I do with a lot of the recipe is take out as much sugar and butter and fat as I can and have it taste good. I like to slim down recipes whenever possible. Don't get me wrong, these are not low calorie, but I have always cooked without extraneous sugar and fat. We do bake Thunder Muffins year round, selling most in summer and at Christmas. We ship them all over the country. When is the bakery open? We stay open year round from late August through May. We are mostly processing, making syrups, jams, and sauces. We do private label processing for other companies. Why do you add the the shit takes? We needed people who work for us to have something to do in the winter so we could keep them employed. It's especially crop that not a lot of people were doing when we started it. We wanted to add another specialty crop. The logs are inoculated in winter, which is our off-season. That provided work for our employees in the winter. We have a mushroom fruitage house, so we produce them year-round. Only in late January or early February, when it's really cold, do they not produce. Many years ago, people didn't know that what to do with they should take mushrooms. Now there's a lot more knowledge and interest in shiitakes. We sell to chefs and stores in Springfield like Hy-Vee. What is the hardest thing to grow? Blueberries. They're pretty finicky in terms of acidity and various pests. That is Ernie's specialty there. He stays on top of the pruning, mulching, and irrigation needs. I handled the kitchen. While I was at Silver Dollar City, he did everything and still does to a large degree. We have great people working for us. There's a picture here of 3 of the employees. One's a big old blueberry scone, like a big cinnamon roll, and of course the blueberry muffin. Who's been your hardest or worst year? What's been? The year of the hailstorm 2014. It was the day before we were going to open. Here are all the berries, and we had a hailstorm, and it knocked the berries off plants and broke the plants. You already have all the investment in the plants, and the yield did not come. How do you handle the stress of farming? The hardest thing is you can't control weather. You can help out with irrigation, you can offset a drought, but there's not a whole lot we can do, so we have to go with the flow and working around it. What do you want people to know about farming? One of the best aspects of farming is it's a long-term process. It is an investment in the land and the way of life. With blueberries, it is a 3-4 year before they yield. It is a slow growth with investment and nurturing. It is a good illustration of what makes things work in life as well. Little by little and being patient and consistent over the long term. It's not a way to get rich quick, and it's a lot of hard work, but there are lots of rewards. What is your favorite part of owning a farm? Interaction with the people. They really enjoy it, and we enjoy sharing it with people. To see them come out with their kids and show them how blueberries grow is special. A little kid who picks blueberries off the plant is often amazed. I remember one little boy who tried blueberries for the first time, and he said, "You have changed my life." It's a wholesome activity. They can spend all day out here. I love being outdoors. Nature is absolutely amazing. A blueberry plant will produce these gorgeous, delicious fruits. It can be a lot of work, but I really do love it. Find it 367 Persimmon Hill Lane, Lamping, Missouri, or on Facebook. Check Facebook for updates on You Pick Berries availability. Juliana Goodwin is a freelance journalist with experience covering business, travel, tourism, health, food, and history. She is a former food and travel columnist for the Springfield News-Leader, a former business reporter for the Joplin Globe, and has written for U.S. Today and Arkansas Living Magazine, among others.
And from the Springfield News-Leader, we'll stay on the topic of food. Venezuelan, Mexican cuisine meet at a new Springfield restaurant. And this is an article by Susan Such. A couple of key points here. The Caracas House food truck has closed to open a new brick-and-mortar restaurant in Springfield. The new restaurant will feature a Latin fusion menu combining Venezuelan and Mexican cuisines. And the restaurant will be located at 1425 West Battlefield Road and is planning a grand opening on June 8th. For nearly 3 years, Luis Salbaran has shared his native Venezuela's food with Springfield at the Caracas House food truck. Recent comments on social media when he announced the truck's last day was May 5th made it clear just how beloved his business is. Quote, "Why wait? Can we get your food anywhere else? I'm heartbroken." What? No, the best cheese sticks and everything. Please tell me you got a restaurant now opening soon. Well, 2 days later, on May 7th, fans of Caracas House received some welcome news. Salbaran will soon be opening a brick-and-mortar location, 1425 West Battlefield Road. The grand opening and ribbon cutting with the Springfield Chamber of Commerce is set for June 8th. Selbrand said, but the restaurant is going through a soft opening until then. The News-Leader sat down to speak with Selbrand about the new venture, with parts of the interview conducted in Spanish. And here's what to know about the new Latin Fusion spot on Battlefield Road, which will open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursdays. They'll be open 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday through and Saturday, and 11 to 8:30 on Sundays. The next byline reads, Selbrand has always wanted to open a restaurant. And we see a picture of the bar in the new brick-and-mortar location on West Battlefield. Selbrand grew up in Caracas, Venezuela, but moved to Springfield when he was 16. He spent a couple years in Miami before returning to Springfield to be with his family. He began the food truck as a way to offer different flavors to the Springfield community, both those who are from the area and those who are located from abroad. For him, the restaurant was the next step and is allowing him to expand how he serves the community. It's been something he's wanted for a while. Quote, I always had the dream to have a restaurant where we can serve more of the community, give them a little more attention, and some alcohol for the people who like a margarita, wine, beer with their food, Selbrand said. The next headline, Caracas House Restaurant will serve up Latin fusion cuisine. Now, Springfield has all kinds of fusion restaurants, from Show Me Choi's Mexican-Italian fusion to Fusion Eats mix of Indian and Mexican food. Caracas House will be adding to that list with a Mexican-Venezuelan fusion cuisine. Selbrand and Eusebio Ramirez, the owner of La Paloma, are working together, which is why the restaurant is offering both cuisines. Guests who have enjoyed Caracas House's food truck menu will see new items added, such as hamburgers and more entrees, in addition to favorites such as arepas, empanadas, and taquinos, fried cheese sticks. The Mexican side of the menu will include all the good parts of La Paloma, enchiladas, burritos, tacos, and a lot more. The good thing is we're going to have our own unique flavors, Selbrand said. When asked about his favorite dish on each menu, Selbrand struggled to give just one, listing much of both menus. Quote, sorry, I can't decide. I can't choose one, he said. It's just too hard. Selbrand hopes to start serving breakfast in the future is the next byline. When asked about future projects, Selbrand said the restaurant is his future right now. He hopes eventually to have it open early for breakfast daily while still closing at 9 p.m. While he knows it's going to require a lot of work, he's excited to contribute to the community. Quote, we're going to work very hard here 7 days a week. But hey, we know we're going to have a good reward, and well, the city of Springfield is going to be rewarded as well. The next byline, the restaurant is a family and community effort, and we see another picture of the inside of the new brick-and-mortar location on 1425 West Battlefield Road. Selbrand knows that without the community and customers, he would not have been able to move to a brick-and-mortar location from his food truck. Quote, I want to give thanks to all the customers that have made it possible for almost 3 years in the food truck, he said. They have been the people who have carried us forward and have as excited for us and are excited for us for this to happen. From the start, Caracas House has always been supported by Selbrand's whole family, who he calls the pillars of the business. He also thanked those joining the partnership with La Paloma's owner. We're happy to be here, Selbrand said. It's been a huge, huge effort on the part of my whole family, but well, here we are, already seeing the results of it. Selbrand can't wait to see what happens next. Quote, I think that good things are coming for us and the city.
This is the Springfield Daily Citizen. Springfield mural by Emily Dang and Osiris Rain wins national recognition. This Hitchhikers inspired by Route 66 was created during the 2025 Overlay Art and Culture Festival downtown. It's a beautiful mural. There's a lady. There's a little bunny on here. Another looks to be a tiger. Route 66 sign. The mural created during the 2025 Overlay Art and Culture Festival has received national recognition from the National Mural Awards. Hitchhikers, created by artists Emily Dang and Osiris Rain and curated and facilitated by Overlay Incorporated, received regional gold for the Midwest region as well as the prestigious National Silver Award, placing the mural among the most celebrated projects in the United States last year. Curating and facilitating public art can be a challenging prospect, but when done properly with community support and trust, big things are possible. Meg Wagler, Overlay's founder, said in a media release, we're so proud of our contributing artists Emily Dang and Osiris Rain for bringing their epic vision to life in Springfield, and we're proud as a young organization to do this work and bring a new level of scale, quality, and intention to our Queen City. We celebrate these awards with our artists and the community that gets to enjoy this public art piece for years to come. Overlay Incorporated partnered with Vicino Group and Local Rotary Club to bring Hitchhikers to life. Installed live during the festival, the mural serves as an homage to U.S. Route 66 and the generations of travelers, dreamers, and adventurers connected to the historic roadway, the release said. The piece was designed to engage younger audiences with the culture and legacy of Route 66 through contemporary public art. The National Mural Award recognized outstanding mural projects across the country that demonstrate artists' excellence, community impact, and innovations in public art. Hitchhikers has also been included on Street Art Cities, an international platform used by travelers and art enthusiasts to discover destinations through public art tourism. This was by Jeff Kessinger, is the reader engagement editor for the Springfield Daily Citizen and the voice of its daily news-leader, Springfield AM. He covered sports in Southwest Missouri for the better part of 20 years, from young athletes to the pros. The Springfield native and Missouri State University alumnus is thrilled to be doing journalism in the Queen City, helping connecting the community with important information. He and his wife, Jamie Daly, try to keep a tent on the circus that is blended family of 5 kids and 3 cats.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, a young businessman from Turkey who created flaming margaritas in Branson has pled guilty to unlawful hiring practices. Federal investigators determined that over time, from 55 to 81% of Burke Baljik's employees could not legally work in the United States. Baljik would direct his new hires to places where they could get fraudulent documents about their immigration status. And we see a picture of the restaurant in Branson. It has closed. Burke Baljik, a young man from Turkey who once owned 2 Flaming Margarita restaurants in Branson, pled guilty on Wednesday, May 21st in federal court to a felony charge of, quote, encouraging and inducing illegal and unauthorized aliens to reside within the United States, admitting he hired employees who were not legally authorized to work in the country. Baljik was arrested in an August 20th raid of his restaurants by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He was 26 at the time. According to federal court records, it does not appear he's been sentenced by U.S. Magistrate Judge David P. Rush of the Western District of Missouri. Nevertheless, Baljik has entered a plea of guilty and has further agreed to be deported to his home country of Turkey once the case is resolved. And what follows is a picture of Mr. Baljik in his Greene County Jail booking photo. The next headline reads, Federal undercover agents visited the restaurants, and according to the plea agreement, agents with Homeland Security started an investigation of Baljik and his hiring practices in June of 2025 after receiving information that he was knowingly employing illegal aliens to work at his 2 restaurants. Baljik owned Flaming Margarita's Mexican Kitchen at 3015 West 76 Country Boulevard, and then opened another more upscale restaurant at 1201 Branson Landing Boulevard. According to court documents, undercover agents entered both restaurants posing as customers and observed numerous individuals working at the location who were listed in the employment documents and records. Agents then conducted a record search and determined that at least 55% and up to 81% of the individuals listed as employees of Baljik's were not authorized to work in the United States, as it was not permitted under their existing visas. Their visas had long since expired, or the individuals working were illegally present in the United States. And what follows is a picture of several vehicles apparently used by federal agents during the August 20th raid at the restaurant on the Branson Landing. For example, according to court documents, in the first quarter of 2025, 25 of 35 reported employees were unlawfully employed by Baljik. In the August 20th raid, law enforcement identified 12 people working at the 2 restaurants who were working illegally. The next headline will be given consideration for pleading guilty and avoiding a trial. The workers told authorities Baljik or his management team on Baljik's behalf would direct all of these individuals hired to his restaurants to go to specific individuals and businesses to obtain false identification documents. And another picture follows. It was taken of the restaurant at the Branson Landing location through the glass. And we see the sign for the Flaming Margaritas American Kitchen and a receptionist bar. Baljik paid workers who were in the country illegally significantly less than he paid other workers, according to the plea agreement. The plea agreement states Baljik will be given consideration in sentencing for admitting his guilt and accepting responsibility, which allows federal prosecutors to not expend resources preparing for a trial. The next headline, quote, he was very smart, very genuine, very ambitious. In August, the Daily Citizen spoke to a friend who lived and worked with Baljic. This was published on August 29th. Jacob Estrada described Baljic as a go-getter who was convinced that if he was successful in business in the United States, he would somehow be allowed to remain in the country. And we see a picture of Mr. Estrada at his home where he was a gentleman who let Baljic live with him for around 9 months. Baljic had come to the United States under a J-1 visa, Estrada said, which allows participants in the United States for educational and cultural exchange programs. Estrada and Baljic met a few years ago as servers at Landry's Seafood House in Branson. Estrada let Baljic live with him in his house in Kipling City for about 9 months. He was very smart, Estrada said, very genuine and very ambitious. The next headline, Baljic studied videos on how to mix drinks. Estrada said that while Baljic lived with him, he would often watch videos on mixing different drinks and would make them on his own. And we see a picture of the two gentlemen. The article continues, he would spend hours making drinks, Estrada said. That was the genesis of the company name, Flaming Margaritas. Baljic had seen a video of someone making one. The two restaurants offered flaming margaritas. The main financial backers of the first flaming margaritas were Baljic's parents in Turkey, Estrada said. Baljic created the Flaming Margaritas LLC in December 2020. According to online records with the Missouri Secretary of State, he would have been 21 years old. Baljic filed paperwork with the state for the second location in October of 2023. Estrada said he, quote, ministered to Baljic. He took him to church that he attended, and Baljic was baptized there. He was very impressionable, Estrada says. I tried to lead him in the right direction. But Baljic developed an edge in his pursuit of success, Estrada said. He took on the belief that to be successful in business, you had to do whatever needed to be done.
This is the Springfield Daily Citizen. Free meals available to students throughout summer at SPS schools. Breakfast and lunch will be available through the USDA's Sun Meals program, which fills in a gap for some families created by summer vacation. A federal program will make free meals available during summer months to Springfield Public School students. SPS announces Monday, May 18th, that it will participate in the U.S. Department of Agriculture Sun Meals program, which will offer free nutritious breakfast and lunch meals to children 18 and younger. The meals will be available from June 1st to the 26th at the following schools: Boyd, Carver, Central, Delaware, Fremont, Harrison, Hickory Hills, Jarrett, Mann, Sherwood, Westport, and Williams. A shorthand for summer nutrition, Sun Meals are part of the USDA's Summer Food Service Program, which ensures that children have access to nutrition meals and a pattern similar to the school year. Because school is not in session during the summer, not every child has access to a healthy meal. Breakfast and lunch will be offered at the site. At each site, hours are different between each location. No application or ID is necessary for a child to receive a meal. Adults who accompany children need to check in with a valid ID at the school's office. The location will change in July. Meals will be available at Boyd, Disney, Jeffrey, Sherwood, and Williams that month. More details are available on the district's website or by calling 417-523-1110. Stories by Joe Hasdale. He's an educating reporter for the Springfield Daily Citizen. Hasdale has more than 2 decades of experience reporting to the Ozarks with the Joplin Globe, Christian County Headliner, News, and 417 Magazine. Contact him, 417-837-3671, or Jay Hasdale at SpringfieldDailyCitizen.org.
And a couple of activities coming up here in the Ozarks from the Springfield News-Leader. National Holocaust exhibition brings a traveling display to Springfield. This is an article written by Dave DeMille. The Springfield Greene County Library District has been selected as one of the 50 U.S. libraries nationwide to host Americans in Holocaust, a traveling exhibition from the United States Holocaust Museum and the American Library Association, according to a community announcement. It's going to be on display from June 15th through July 27th in the Library Center Reading Room and accompanied by a series of related public programs, according to the announcement. And here's something that sounds like a lot of fun, also from the Springfield News-Leader. A free 80s symphonic rock concert is returning to Springfield Park. Also written by Dave DeMille, a free outdoor celebration concert celebrating the biggest hits of the 80s set to return to Springfield this summer, bringing symphonic rock to Phelps Grove Park, according to a community announcement. Guarantee Banks Pops in the park will be held on Saturday, June 20th, featuring the rock bands Jeans and Classics performing alongside musicians from the Springfield Symphony Orchestra in a collaborative concert benefiting the Springfield Art Museum. And the next headline reads, free concert returning to Phelps Grove Park. And we see the sign about the upcoming concert. Again, it's going to be taking place Phelps Grove Park, seating opening at 6 p.m. Concert gets underway at 7 p.m. Admission is free, and attendees are encouraged to bring their own chairs and blankets. The program will focus on popular music from the 1980s, performed in a high-energy symphonic rock format. The concert is designed to be family-friendly, according to the announcement. And the next byline reads, parking, shuttles, and amenities. Check this, want to be sure and learn about this. Free parking, first off, will be available at multiple nearby locations, including the Springfield Art Museum, which will offer handicap accessible parking. Additional parking sites include National Avenue Christian Church and Asbury United Methodist Church. Free shuttle service will operate from Parkview High School and designated Missouri State University commuter lots, according to the announcement. Food and non-alcoholic beverages are permitted inside the park. Several food and beverage trucks are expected on site, and free water will be available through Guarantee Bank and the City Utilities Water Wagon. Art activities and pets are welcome. The Springfield Art Museum will host hands-on art activities and yard games in the park pavilion during the event. Now, dogs are allowed but must remain on a leash in accordance with park rules. Animal control services will be present.
Thank you for tuning in to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Our broadcasts are available live on YouTube from Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and on demand via the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. Access options include Amazon Alexa, mobile app, and the radio via KSMU's radio at 91.1 FM, 67 gigahertz, subcarrier from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. Contact the Audio Reader Network for radio receivers.
And from the Springfield News-Leader, these baby names led Missouri births in 2025. Oliver and Charlotte topped the Social Security Administration's list of most popular baby names in Missouri for 2025, with Theodore and Amelia following closely behind. Now, every year the SSA compiles a list of top baby names in the United States and in each state via data from Social Security card applications submitted at birth. People can search back as far as 1960 to see the 100 most frequently given names for both male and female babies on the administration's website. The SSA's most popular baby names for the Show Me State more or less match the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services findings earlier this year. So what were the most popular names in Missouri for 2025? Here is what to know. What were the most popular boys' names in Missouri, along with the number of occurrences in Social Security data? Followed, as we said, by Oliver, followed by Theodore, Henry, Noah, Hudson, Liam, William, James, Cooper, and Bennett. And the most popular girls' names in Missouri in 2025 included Charlotte, followed by Amelia, Olivia, Eleanor, Evelyn, Sophia, Emma, Violet, Willow, and Harper. And the top 10 most popular names for 2025 in the U.S., the girls, again, starting with Olivia, Charlotte, Emma, Amelia, and Sophia. Those are the top 5. And for the boys, Liam, Noah, Oliver, Theodore, and Henry. And the next headline is reading, how and why to get a Social Security number for your baby. The easiest way to get a Social Security number for your newborn is to apply when you provide information for your baby's birth certificate at the hospital, according to SSA. You'll be asked if you want to apply for a Social Security number for your baby. If you wait to apply for a number at a Social Security office, there could be delays while your child's birth certificate is verified, the agency warns. Getting a Social Security number for your child is optional, but you will need it if you want to open a bank account for the child, buy savings bonds for the child, get medical coverage for the child, or apply for government services for the child.
This is Springfield Daily Citizen. Nonprofit community bike shop expands with new location on historic C Street. It's a picture here of the storage with the bicycles. The SBC Community Bike Shop at the Fairbanks will open a retail store on the west end of historic Commercial Street this summer. The SBC Community Bike Shop, a nonprofit program of the Drew Lewis Foundation with support from the Springfield Brewing Company Athletics, has leased a newly built commercial space on the ground floor of a multifamily apartment complex at 411 West Commercial Street. The new retail location is aiming for a soft opening in July with a grand opening celebration to follow. The commercial street location will primarily function as a storefront for bicycle sales, customer engagement, and occasional volunteer opportunities, Amy Blanchett, founder and CEO of the Drew Lewis Foundation, said in an email. The majority of operations, including bike processing repairs, storage, volunteer coordination, and larger programming efforts, will continue to remain based at the Fairbanks Community Hub. The bike shop started in the Fairbanks Community Hub, located at 1126 North Broadway Avenue, nearly a decade ago. The shop is run by volunteers. It offers bicycle safety and repair lessons and gives free bikes to children. The bike shop takes donations of used bikes and parts from the Springfield community. The Fairbanks currently serves as the primary operational hub for bike storage, repairs, volunteer coordination, programming, and community outreach efforts, Blanchett said. The bike shop also relies heavily on quality bike donations from the community. Donated bicycles are repaired, refurbished, and redistributed at affordable prices to help expand transportation access throughout Springfield. Parts of Springfield's newest affordable housing complex. The bike shop's retail store on C Street will be part of Vecinos Group's Sankoff, a 42-unit, $13.5 million affordable housing complex that was just completed in Springfield 2026. Sankofa is pre-leasing units, according to its website. The housing development intended to partner with a number of nonprofits for its ground floor retail space, according to the previous Daily Citizen's reporting. Being located on the ground floor of the Springfield's newest affordable housing development aligns naturally with the mission of both Drew Lewis Foundation and the SBC Community Bike Shop at the Fairbanks, Blanchett said. Access to reliable transportation remains a major barrier for many individuals and families, and placing affordable bicycles directly within a walkable neighborhood corridor creates greater accessibility and opportunity for residents. The bike shop has leased the Sankofa unit for 1 year with opportunities for renewal and a potential expansion of up to 5 years, Blanchett said. The opportunity was made possible in part through tax credit programs designed to encourage partnerships with nonprofits and community serving organizations, Blanchett said. Through this initiative, the bike shop has been offered an affordable lease arrangement that allows us to establish a strong community presence while continuing to expand access to affordable transportation resources. Blanchett said the bike shop is eager to join the hype of C Street and be a part of a community transformation. We believe the partnership reflects the growing momentum around collaborative community development in Springfield, where housing, transportation, local business, and nonprofit organizations can work together to create stronger, healthier, and more connected neighborhoods. There's a picture here of a little bike shop. It's got the doors open with a desk. This story was by Ryan Collins. He's the business and economic development reader for the Springfield Daily Citizen. Collins graduated from Glendale High School in 2011 before studying journalism and economics at the University of Missouri-Columbia. He previously worked for Bloomberg News. Contact him at 417-849-2570 or at rcollins@springfielddailycitizen.org.
And from the Springfield News-Leader, a Missouri bill gives women access to year-long birth control supply. And this is an article written by Anna Spora. A couple of key points here. Missouri lawmakers passed a bill allowing women to receive a 12-month supply of oral contraceptives at once. The legislation, if signed by the governor, would expand this access to those with private insurance starting in 2027. Advocates say the bill removes barriers for women who struggle with time, childcare, and travel to get monthly refills. After decades spent working with people seeking abortions, Allison Hiles said one thing became clear. Some Missouri lawmakers have little understanding of what women go through to prevent pregnancy. Quote, it's very difficult to take time off work, to find childcare, to drive somewhere to get birth control, to pay for birth control, Hile told The Independent, and that's getting harder and harder as funds are cut for places that offer birth control. Hile, 71, previously worked at Hope Clinic across the Mississippi River from St. Louis in Illinois. She was among dozens of Missourians who advocated for expansion of birth control access this year. And what follows is a picture of birth control pills. The story continues, I cannot begin to count the number of patients who came to us because they had run out of birth control, Hile told lawmakers earlier this year. The legislation earlier this month approved a health care bill that, if signed by Republican Governor Mike Kehoe, will allow anyone in Missouri who has prescribed oral contraceptives beginning in 2027 to pick up a 12-month supply at one time, rather than visiting the pharmacy every few months for refills. Right now, women on Medicaid can access an annual supply. This law would expand the same parameters to include private insurance. Dozens of Missourians filed testimony supporting the legislation. They included a mother of two who uses hormonal contraceptives and finds it can be difficult to squeeze in a trip to pick up birth control multiple times a year while juggling work and family. Another woman who lives in a small rural community said the only reason she could get birth control before the sole pharmacy in town closed at 5 p.m. was because her job offered some flexibility in hours. Another shared she takes contraceptive provide to help with endometriosis and it faces time and stress of delayed refills. State Senator Patty Lewis, a Democrat from Kansas City who co-sponsored the legislation, called the bill a common sense measure that will help scores of women across Missouri. Quote, as a nurse, I've seen firsthand how barriers to coverage can create real problems for people's health, their finances, and their families, she said. State Reps Tara Peters, a Republican from Rolla, characterized the bill to colleagues as an act of civility. Peters, who co-sponsored the bill, is among a bipartisan group of women who have filed similar legislation over the past several years, facing pushback from insurance companies and confusion from some lawmakers who incorrectly group birth control with abortion prescience. This year was different. The powers that be decided that health care is a priority this year, Peters said ahead of the bill's final vote. It's a great day for women's health care. In March of 2024, while pushing for the passage of the same legislation, Peters told The Independent that annual supply birth control was crucial, considering the abortion landscape at the time. Missourians were still several months out from overturning the state's near-total abortion ban. Quote, as a Republican and as a woman who's pro-life, we need to make sure we're giving tools to the women in Missouri to prevent pregnancy, Peters said at the time. When that session ended and the bill died, she blamed some Republican male colleagues on its demise. 2 years later, abortion is legal, but future access is uncertain. Missourians will be asked if they want to reinstate an abortion ban at the ballot box later this year. Quote, this bill won't solve every challenge that reproductive health care faces in Missouri, said Michelle Trupiano, Executive Director of Beacon Reproductive Health Network, but it is a meaningful step in the right direction. It's an interesting time where we know that there are lots of challenges that Missourians continue to face regarding reproductive freedom. She adds, and so we're celebrating progress while also being honest that the fight for reproductive freedom in Missouri is far from over and there's still a lot of work ahead. Nearly 372,000 Missouri women in need live in contraceptive deserts or places where there's not reasonable access to a full range of contraceptive methods, according to data compiled by Power to Decide, a nonprofit that advocates for family planning access. Most are in rural counties. Quote, birth control is used not only to prevent pregnancy, but also to treat a wide range of medical conditions, including endometriosis, heavy menstrual bleeding, and metabolic ovarian syndrome, said Dr. Colleen McNichols, chairman of the Missouri section of the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. Ensuring patients can access a consistent supply of those medications means fewer interruptions in treatment and better health outcomes for women across Missouri.
This is the Springfield News-Leader. June's first Friday Art Walk in Springfield offers all age activities. From gallery openings and author readings to live jazz and a community block party, June's arts lineup in downtown Springfield offers a wide range of options according to a community announcement from the Springfield Regional Art Council. The first Friday Art Walk on June 5th anchors the month, with many venues staying open late and several spots adding hands-on activities. Highlights include a watercolor showcase at Formed, an artist collective, new work at Obelisk Home, an artist feature in the Hotel Vandervoort lobby, and a Route 66 themed photo exhibit at the Park Central Branch Library. Families will also find crafts and free activities at the Downtown Church and the Galloids Theater. Venues will keep variable hours with many locations open till 10 p.m. for the June 5th event. Participating spaces can also be visited throughout the month during the regular business hours. Formed Art Collective, an artist collective, will feature a new watercolor collection by feature artist Andy Snethern. The exhibition includes works ranging from a delicate nest and a cozy diner to luminous pears, golden flowers, and dreamy lily pads. Visitors can enjoy refreshments, live music, and opportunities to meet the artists during First Friday Art Walk from 6 to 9 p.m. Live music by Tony Mignon is scheduled from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. The address is 210 East Walnut Street. Regular hours is Tuesday to Saturday, 10 to 6 p.m., Sunday, 10 to 2. You can contact Laura Isbell at 417-350-1142. Forming will open during First Friday Art Walk from 6 to 9 or when artists are present and the open sign is displayed on the sidewalk. The space also hosts an open studio every Monday from noon to 8 p.m. That address is 330 South Avenue. The regular hours is from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Open studio Monday, noon to 8. There's Gailey's Breakfast Cafe. Will be open from 9 until 9 p.m. during June's First Friday Art Walk. In addition to its traditional American breakfast menu, the cafe will display artwork from the SWMO Visual Arts Collective, including pieces from the Foot Youth Art Show celebrating youth artists. That address is 220 East Walnut Street. Regular hours is Sunday to Tuesday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., Wednesday to Saturday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can contact Ann Kenyon. The Galloids Theater will host Friday Art Walk activities in its second floor gallery space. Attendees can view exhibits by Galloids residents companies, enjoy beer or handcrafted cocktails, and listen to a live jazz set by members of Mojo beginning at 6:30 p.m. The Springfield Art Museum will also host a table offering a hands-on art activity. Admission is free and doors open up at 6 p.m. The address is 325 Park Central East. Box office hours is Monday to Friday, 10 to 4. You can contact Laura Slam, 417-521-7993. And there's Hers Luxury Living, will be open from 6 to 9 for June's First Friday Art Walk, inviting visitors to explore the space and take part in the evening's festivities. That address is 138 Park Central Square, Suite 101. Their regular hours is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. You can contact me, Maggie. The Hotel Vanderbilt features Art Walk by Haley Page in the hotel lobby from 4:30 to 10 p.m. during June's Art Walk. Page, who began painting in high school, works primarily in acrylics and focuses on layered, abstract compositions. That address is 305 East Walnut Street. Hotel lobby hours is open 24/7. The Order restaurant hours is Monday to Saturday from 5 to 10, Sunday, and 5 to 9. JJ Long Traders will be open from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. for the first Art Walk. The shop will welcome romance author Angie N. Black for the release of her latest novel, Higher Education. That address is 318 West Walnut Street. Their regular hours is Tuesday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can contact Kelly Rath and Kaylee Long at 417-771-5452. The Opslick Home will host the opening of No Kept Lines by Kobe Kern in the main gallery from 6 to 10. Kern's work reflects a painting practice rooted in curiosity and instinct. The lower level gallery will feature the 2026 Ozarks Tech juried exhibition showcasing work from 21 OTC students. Address is 214 West Phelps Street, Suite 101. Regular hours is Tuesday to Friday from 10 to 6. Saturday from 10 to 5. You can contact Sam Evans at 417-616-6488. Then we have the Ozarks Farm Stop. Ozarks Farm Stop will be open until 8 p.m. for June's first Art Walk, featuring acoustic artwork by Christian Corey of TNC Bee Company. Corey is a third-generation beekeeper whose work is inspired by nature and created using pigmented wax applied with heated tools. The address is 401 South Avenue, Suite A100. Regular hours is Tuesday from 10 to 3, Wednesday 10 to 6, Thursdays 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday 10 to 3. You can contact them at 417-208-9088. Then we have the Park Central Branch Library. Displays photography, David Islick's exhibition, Route 66. The rest of the story, Islick's will give an art talk at 7 p.m. focusing on John T. Woodruff and the history of Route 66. Visitors can also create a personalized stitch journal using provided materials. That address is 128 Park Central Square. Regular hours is Monday to Saturday from 10 to 6. You can contact Andrew Mann at andrewmann@thelibrary.org. Then there's the Corolla Arts Exhibition Center. Will host an MFA thesis exhibition in a partnership with the Springfield Art Museum running May 26th through June 5th. First Friday art walk hours are 6 to 8 p.m. The exhibition features work by Missouri State University MFA candidates Kayla Brown, Kara Coonrod, Cameron Golich, and Olga Shute, with curatorial guidance provided by the Springfield Art Museum staff. Address is 326 North Boonville. Their regular hours is Monday to Friday from 11 to 6. You can contact Jody McCoy at the MissouriState.edu. The Downtown Church will host free activities from 6 to 8, including live jazz by Kudisis Arts and crafts for children, popcorn, lemonade, and tours of the historic church. That address is 413 East Walnut Street. Office hours is Monday to Thursday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. You can contact Brian Madison at Hello the Downtown at the church, or 417-866-4326. The Creamery Arts Center. The Springfield Regional Arts Council will host its second annual block party at the Creamery Arts Center from 5 to 7. The event includes opening receptions for Summer in the Ozarks in the main gallery and the GLO Center's Queer Art Showcase in the Hall Gallery. That address is 411 North Sherman Parkway. Regular hours is Monday to Friday from 9 p.m. to 5 p.m. You can contact Claire at springfieldleader.org. This story was created by Dave DeMille, DeMilleGarnett.com. With the assistance of artificial intelligence, Journals was involved in every step of the information gathering, review, and editing and publishing process.
And in another article written by Dave DeMille from the Springfield News-Leader, kids wearing life jackets can earn free t-shirts at Lake of the Ozarks. Kids who wear a properly fitted life jacket while out on the water at Lake of the Ozarks this summer may be rewarded with a free t-shirt, according to a community announcement from Emmarin, Missouri. Beginning Memorial Day weekend, children spotted wearing U.S. Coast Guard-approved life jackets can receive the newly designed shirts during routine safety checks conducted by troopers with the Missouri State Highway Patrol Water Patrol Division. The giveaway runs through the summer boating season and is intended to reinforce safe habits on the lake. The shirts feature an otter floating on its back while wearing a life jacket, a visual reminder aimed at keeping water safety top of the mind for families visiting the lake. Quote, our annual summer t-shirt giveaway is a fun way to remind everyone that wearing a life jacket is one of the simplest and best ways to prevent accidental drowning. Brian Vance, manager of Shoreline Management, Emmarin, Missouri, said, according to the announcement, Emmarin, Missouri manages about 1,150 miles of Lake of the Ozarks shoreline as part of its operation of Bagnell Dam and the Osage Energy Center. Next headline, safety reminders as summer crowds increase. The campaign coincides with the start of the busy boating season when traffic on the lake typically increases. The U.S. Coast Guard reports that drowning accounted for 76% of fatal boating accidents nationwide in 2024, with most victims not wearing life jackets. Captain Mike Peklonsky, director of the Missouri State Highway Patrol Water Patrol Division, said reminders are especially important during holiday weekends when visitors unfamiliar with the lake arrive in large numbers. Missouri law requires children younger than 7 to wear a life jacket while boating, though officials encourage boaters of all ages to wear them whenever they are on or near the water. The Coast Guard also recommends children wear life jackets while on docks or close to shore. Parents are advised to check life jacket fit by tightening all straps and lifting the jacket at the shoulders. If it rises to the child's ears, the jacket is too large. Officials emphasize that life jackets are not a substitute for adult supervision. Dock safety is also emphasized, is the next headline. In addition to water safety, Ameren, Missouri is urging lake users to follow electrical safety procedures around docks. According to the announcement, dock owners should regularly inspect electrical systems, test ground fault circuit interrupters monthly, and have qualified electricians perform routine inspections. Ameren, Missouri also advises never resetting breakers or GFCIs while someone is swimming nearby, and to swim away from docks if a person feels a tingling or a shock in the water, exiting from the shoreline if possible. Ameren, Missouri Shoreline Management Office oversees dock permits, shoreline stabilization, and safety signage around Bagnell Dam. Lake level updates are posted at amerenmissouri.com.
This is Springfield Daily Citizen, where experience meets impact, the story behind Give 5 Springfield. There's a picture here of about 15 or so. Oh, it's a Give 5 graduating class. Why now is the time to join Give 5 Springfield? Do you feel like something is missing from your life? In Springfield, more and more retired adults are discovering that the answer might be simpler than expected. Volunteerism. Think of it as a fast-acting way to improve neighborhoods, support local organizations, and strengthen your sense of purpose. While the results may sound lighthearted, they are real. Participants consistently report increased joy, deeper community connections, and a renewed sense of direction. That's exactly what Give 5 Springfield was created to do in 2017, and the Give 5 program has continued to accomplish for hundreds of retirees across dozens of classes and a variety of participating sites located in multiple states today. More than volunteering, it's a new chapter. There's a picture here of volunteers sitting around round tables. Give 5 is a free program for adults 60 plus that helps participants connect with local nonprofits and discover how their time, talents, and life experience can make a real difference. Through a series of engaging weekly sessions, participants tour organizations, meet community leaders, and connect with peers who are also looking for something more. For many, what begins as curiosity quickly becomes something deeper. One graduate shared, going through Give 5 not only educated me about resources I didn't know existed, but being able to tour agencies and see firsthand what they do was the best way for me to find the right place to serve. I've been volunteering and finding it very rewarding. I would recommend this program to anyone with an interest in making their community better. And they're not alone. Across Missouri, Give 5 graduates volunteer an average of nearly 5 hours per week, more than twice the statewide average, creating stronger, more connected communities in the process. There's a picture here of them building something. They've got the wood, the tools. Got a man there with his jumpsuit on. There's also a safety orange sign there. A proven impact for you and your community. From supporting food banks and shelters to mentoring and literacy programs, Give 5 participants have stepped into roles that matter. But their impacts isn't just external. Participants consistently report increased happiness, stronger relationships, and a deeper sense of belonging. Because when you give your time, you often gain something even more valuable in return. Why this moment matters. Give 5 Springfield's next class begins April 1st with sessions held April 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and the 29th. With limited seats available and strong interest, this is one of the final opportunities to participate in the program at this time. If you've been thinking about getting involved, there's never been a better moment to start your next chapter. There's a picture here of people who have signed up for the volunteering that's in the class, and a picture of the speaker, the instructor. Start the next chapter. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be willing to explore. Give 5 Springfield offers a welcome, engaging environment where you can discover what's next at your own pace and alongside others on a similar journey. So if you've been asking yourself what's missing, this might be it. Learn more about Give 5 at http://mogive5.com. Register for class 30 today. http://uwozarks.org/forms/give5 participants applications. You can also explore other community volunteer opportunities anytime at volunteerozarks.com.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, Christian County leaders say they need a new jail today, but finding $60 million is the challenge. The next byline reads, for the second time in 30 years, Christian County officials say they're in dire need of a new jail with no immediate way to fund it. And we see a picture of the jail and several inmates in a common area. Last year, the Christian County Sheriff's Office jailed an average of 155 people per day. The city jail has a total of 99 beds. Christian County officials are in agreement that a new, bigger jail is a top priority for the county, but with budgets becoming tighter each year, the county is uncertain when it will have the funds to construct the facility it needs. Sheriff Brad Cole estimates a new jail will come with a $60 to $75 million price tag. Obviously, overcrowding creates a different work environment for the staff because you have people sleeping and housed in places that they were never intended to be housed or sleeping in, Cole says. It does create some officer safety issues at times, but we train for that, and we make sure people understand and know how to handle those situations. And what follows is a picture of the sheriff talking about conditions at the jail in Ozarks, Missouri, and the need for replacement. In addition to overcrowding, the facility has faced major plumbing issues over the years. In July of 2025, the county completed a project for around $1 million to solve sewer problems that repeatedly sent wastewater and feces into the sheriff's office and inmate showers. Honestly, quote, we're one lawsuit away from saying, why have we not already built this jail, Cole says. We do everything we can to mitigate the liability. We make sure our inmates are taken care of and that they have everything that's required and needed. But the fact of the matter is, we've way outgrown this jail. This jail structurally is not what it should be, and we face daily issues. The next headline reads, space is at a premium. To quell crowding, Christian County sends some inmates to the jails in neighboring Douglas and Stone counties. On an average day, between 15 and 25 Christian County inmates could be jailed in other counties, said Captain Colton Craig. One of the biggest challenges with the jail's limited space is treating people with mental health conditions who are booked into the jail on temporary holds. The general population in the jail is divided into 6 pods, groups of cells. Inmates who need to be monitored closely are kept in a separate wing of the jail, which contains 8 cells. Inmates may stay in these cells if they are acting out or becoming aggressive towards others, or if they need to be closely monitored due to a mental health crisis. There is one designated watch cell for people at risk of self-harm or suicide. And what follows is a picture of one of those cells, a cell for an inmate under watch for self-harm in a wing of the Christian County Jail in Ozarks. The story continues, if multiple people are in crisis, personnel would normally move some inmates to convert other cells into watch cells, Cole said. The cells are frequently utilized because they also house people with complicated medical needs. Normally, this would be temporary housing until they're able to move up to our general population, but this has turned into a kind of a medical wing, Craig said. While reporters visited the jail in late January 26, the watch cell was occupied by someone experiencing a mental health crisis. Another cell was being used by a person on an oxygen machine. And we see a picture of the door to a cell for an inmate on lockdown in the Christian County Jail. The next headline reading, this isn't anything new. Limited space means limited privacy in many situations. Springfield criminal defense attorney Stuart Huffman said he's met with clients in Christian County's drunk tank on multiple occasions because it was the most secluded spot available. The other thing with Christian County is terrible planning, he said. You have a jail that's not connected to the circuit court. People in the jail often attend court appointments virtually, even though the circuit court is directly across the street. Although Huffman acknowledged that the jail's design and planning creates issues, he and Christian County problems are not unique among county jails in southwest Missouri. Quote, every jail is overcrowded. This isn't anything new, Huffman said. It's common for county jails to keep 3 or 4 inmates in a room with a 2-person bunk, he added. The next headline, new jail will likely come later than sooner. And we see a picture of Sheriff Brad Cole and Captain Colton Crate looking at information about an inmate in a control room at the jail. Christian County Presiding Commissioner Lynn Morris believes the county will find a suitable piece of property and come up with the money to build a new jail in the next 5 years or so. There's currently no plans to do this, as Christian County is already facing difficult budget decisions to avoid dipping into its reserves. Inflation and population growth in the county have been outpacing sales tax revenue since 2022. Quote, "We need a new jail today. We needed a new jail probably 2 or 3 years ago, but we don't have any money to do it," Morris said. And the next picture is of the physical recreation room in the jail. The vented opening at the top of the back wall does allow for some fresh air for the inmates. The county commission continues to say that a new jail is the biggest priority, according to Cole. Quote, "I couldn't agree more. I've been telling them this for the last 10 years, he said. And this is not the first time Christian County has been in dire need of a new jail with no way to fund it. Until 2001, inmates were housed in the 3rd floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Ozark. Christian County officials began attempting to fund a new jail in 1995, but it took a lawsuit from the ACLU and an inmate's suicide before voters approved a quarter-cent tax to fund the current facility. The current jail was built under pressure. The old courthouse lockup had space for 18 inmates, so it was frequently over capacity, according to a 1999 story from the Springfield News-Leader. It lacked air conditioning and had no emergency call buttons or fire escape. In October of 1999, the Ozarks chapter of the ACLU filed a class action lawsuit against Christian County, alleging that the conditions of the jail violated inmates' civil rights. At the time, the executive director of the ACLU stated that the condition of the jail was, quote, "a tragedy waiting to happen, not only for inmates but for staff." Christian County officials were in agreement that the jail needed an upgrade. There have been 4 attempts since 1995 to pass another quarter-cent sales tax to fund a new jail, but voters rejected the measure each time. 1 month after the ACLU filed its lawsuit, a 24-year-old inmate died by suicide in his cell. The county was forced to evacuate the other inmates and move them to Stone and Ozark counties. While the jail was empty, the county got to work adding a fire escape and meeting other conditions negotiated by the ACLU to settle the lawsuit, but the space still had serious security issues. Christian County voters finally approved the quarter-cent sales tax in April of 2000. The jail closed after another inmate suicide in August of 2000. In March 2001, an inmate reportedly managed to break out of the jail and ran away after removing a grate in one of the showers, climbing to the roof, and lowering himself to the ground with knotted sheets. The current jail was completed in late 2001 for $7.7 million, according to a November 2001 story from the News-Leader. The Springfield Business Journal reported that contractor R.E. Smith Construction and architect Bates & Associates, Inc. completed the 85,000 square foot facility. The next headline, we've been at capacity about as long as I can remember. And we see a shot of Christian County Sheriff Brad Cole in the room connecting different cell groups in the jail. When the current jail facility was completed, Christian County was averaging 41 inmates a day. Cole joined the county in 2004. Quote, "We've been at capacity for honestly about as long as I can remember," Cole said. The sheriff stated that when the facility was initially designed, it was intended to accommodate an additional upper level so that it could be expanded in the future. Unfortunately, they did not follow the design plans and the blueprints the way that it was supposed to be, which creates a huge issue as far as adding that 3rd level, he said. Structurally, the building's not capable of handling that 3rd level, and the feasibility cost-wise to add that 3rd level is just astronomical. Another picture of Sheriff Brad Cole standing in a room where sewage previously backed up in the jail in Ozark. The jail had recurring issues with both the sewer and drainage system in the kitchen, a problem Cole said was caused because the builders installed 3-inch drain lines instead of the 6-inch lines specified in the blueprint. Sewage and feces backed up into the sheriff's office and inmate showers on multiple occasions. Remediating the damage cost the county thousands of dollars on each occasion. Christian County wrote a grant for sewage improvements in the jail, Cole said, enabling the county to finish on a $1 million project to fix the problem in July of 2021. Based on an informal feasibility study Cole conducted around 2023, he said that a new jail facility for Christian County will cost between $60 and $75 million, with construction costs increasing by about 5% every year. He said a new jail will need 350 to 400 beds to accommodate the next 25 years of growth in the county. In 2022, Greene County completed a new jail with a capacity of just over 1,200 inmates for $150 million. By statute, county jails in Missouri are supposed to be located within the county seat. Cole said the future jail site would ideally be located off a major highway like Route 14, Route CC, or Highway 65, and will connect to city water and sewer services. The footprint would be around 15 to 20 acres, and it would look different from the current facility. Studies and experience have shown that you don't build jails just like what we have now. You don't build them up, you build them out, Cole said. The cost to build them up is higher than building them out. The Christian County Jail currently houses some federal inmates, although the percentage of federal inmates varies day by day. Craig estimated they make up 25% of the jail's population on average. I think one of the goals is to try to have more federal inmates because we lose money on state prisoners, Morris said. The sheriff envisions his future with 2 active jails in Christian County. My thoughts and plans, you're still going to have the jail here because you're still going to have court here, Cole said. So we're still going to have house inmates for court purposes. We're already here, but we might as well utilize it to make some money and house some federal inmates. If the county jailed 100 federal inmates, Cole estimated that it would be reimbursed about $7,500 a day.
This is the Springfield Daily Citizen. Ozarks hires Ray Godfrey as interim head football coach. 3 weeks after the resignation of head football coach Jeremy Codell, Ozarks announced Wednesday that Ray Godfrey will take over the program on an interim basis. Godfrey, who has been an Ozarks School District employee since 2008, has served as an assistant football, wrestling, and baseball coach, and worked 5 years as the Tigers' strength and conditioning coach. Ozarks said it will begin its search for its next head football coach at the conclusion of the 2026 season. Cordell led the program the past 3 seasons, going a combined 9-24. Godfrey has ample head coaching experience, including 16 seasons at Neosho from 1992 to 2007, winning 5 district titles. The 1989 Southwest Baptist graduate started his coaching career as an assistant the NCAA Division II school in Bolivar. Given our search starting late in the school year, naming Coach Godfrey as our interim head coach was a natural fit for our program, Ozark Athletic Director Yancey Little said in a news release. Coach Godfrey brings decades of coaching experience, strong relationships within our school community, and a deep understanding of Ozark football. He will provide steady leadership for our student athletes throughout the upcoming season as we begin a full head coaching search following the conclusion of this season. This story is by Ryan Collingwood. Ryan Collingwood covers college and high school sports in the Springfield metropolitan area for the Daily Citizen. Have a story, idea, or gripe? Send an email to rcollinswood@citizens.org. Call 417-837-3660.
And from the Springfield Daily Citizen, a former employee sues Drury University for retaliation involving a supervisor's behavior. And this is an article by Joe Hansel. We see a picture of a beautiful statue of the Drury Panther. Drury is a private university here in Springfield, and its athletics mascot, of course, is that well-known panther. A former Drury University employee has filed a civil suit against the university and one of its employees, alleging retaliation from a supervisor over inappropriate behavior. Lloyd Marshall is asking for at least $25,000 in damages over his termination, according to documentation filed Wednesday, May 20th in Greene County Circuit Court. He was employed with the university from August 2023 through May 2025. The Daily Citizen has reached out to Drury officials for comment and will update this report if a reply is received. According to his lawsuit, Marshall reported to Alex Riddle, who is executive manager of the Facilities Department. That division handles ground maintenance and landscaping across the university's campus in central Springfield. Marshall said that Riddle granted him authority to hire entry-level employees without supervision or consent, and he did so about 12 times. Riddle made inappropriate comments and took questionable actions related to race and gender, Marshall alleged in his suit. The allegations include when a female employee in her 20s was hired, Riddle encouraged Marshall to not hire her because she was a woman. After Marshall hired a black man, Marshall said Riddle fired the man 2 days later. After the firing, Riddle scolded Marshall over the hiring, saying that the man, quote, didn't represent Drury. About 2 weeks after that firing, which was around April 21st, 2025, the woman hired by Marshall reported Riddle for sexual harassment, including making sexual comments, shadowing her work without a purpose, and leering from a distance, according to documentation. When Marshall confronted Riddle about the harassment, the lawsuit says Riddle dismissed the complaints and instructed Marshall to not report the incident to Drury's Human Resources Office. Riddle further restricted Marshall's hiring responsibilities, according to the lawsuit. Marshall alleged that the ensuing month was difficult as Riddle treated him poorly. About May 22nd of that year, Marshall was fired by Riddle and Jennifer Baltus, jury's director of human resources. Marshall said that while he presented his side, including the sexual harassment allegations, Riddle instructed him to silence. And this is written, as I mentioned, by Joe Hadsel, education reporter for the Springfield Daily Citizen, with more than 2 decades of experience reporting in the Ozarks with the Joplin Globe, Christian County Headliner News, and 417 Magazine. You can contact him at 417-837-3671 or jhadsel@sgfcitizen.org.
This is Springfield Daily Citizen. Peyton Burbridge capped a resilience career with Knicks' first golf state championship. There's a picture of him, the Athlete of the Week. The Athlete of the Week profile is made possible by our healthcare sponsor, Mercy Construction sponsor, Nesbitt Construction, and the Daily Citizen Athlete of the Year scholarship sponsors, Absolute Dental and Dumpster 417.com. The scene at the Missouri Country Club in Columbia for the Misha's Class 5 state golf tournament was cloudy and cold, which suited Knicks' Peyton Burbridge just fine. The first Eagles golfer to be crowned state champion isn't used to sunshine and rainbows. Burbridge endured 2 off-season surgeries, and when Knicks head golf coach Scott Miller saw him during the fall semester hobbling on crutches with his wrist in a brace, the senior's final spring season seemed in doubt. He would tell me, like, I'm not playing well, and that he didn't know his yardage on his clubs, yet he's just been unable to trust himself. Tryouts are really the first time he'd probably played a full round since the surgeries, Miller said. When the Eagles opened the season on March 28th at Missouri Bluffs Golf Club in St. Charles, Burbridge was Knicks' drop scorer. The designation given to golfers around left off the team's final scorecard. Less than 2 months later, Burbridge won the state championship tournament by shooting a 69 and staffing off Ozarks Jr. Riley Franklin with 70. Parkway South senior Matthew Delaney, 71, placed third. There's a picture of him here with his medal around his neck. It was raining. It was a day where you had to keep it up mentally. You had to stay mentally there and just had to keep grinding all day, Burbridge said. I like to play aggressive, so really on each hole, I just played to my strengths and tried to do what I do normally. Those last 3 holes were just ridiculous. Made a lot of long putts, chipped in once. There were a lot of clutch shots in the last 3 holes that really sealed the deal. Burbridge was the first golfer to finish, and the Knicks contingent waited anxiously at the clubhouse while Burbridge hit the practice green in anticipation of a playoff hole. I came over to my dad, and he was like, "It's not done yet." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's right," Burbridge said. "Riley is a great player, and I know he's really good, and I knew there was potential that he was going to catch back up to me." There was advantages and disadvantages of finishing the round first. You're putting up a number everyone else has to chase, and so that's a good feeling. But at the same time, it's very nerve-wracking to refresh that scoreboard. I think we had a whole group all refreshing the app over and over every minute or so, just waiting to see how the scores would fall, Miller said. When Franklin finished 1 stroke behind Burbridge, celebration ensured. Oh, it was awesome. Pure joy, pure excitement, and I welled up with tears. I was so happy for him, all the stuff he's had to overcome, Miller said. The victory was a testament to overcoming adversity and also fitting into a historic career. Burbridge plans to attend jury to study sports medicine, and he does not plan to compete in college. I think mostly what I'm going to carry with me is the wins I've had over the years, Burbridge said. I won a tournament my sophomore year, one of my best tournaments I've ever played at Millwood. I won the Carthage tournament this year, and that was definitely one I'm very proud of, and then obviously state now. It's just all those kind of building up and just shows how all hard work has come, you know. 3 Springfield area golfers won state titles this week, including Springfield Catholic Harper Elliott, Class 3, and Gloria Dios Trenton King, Class 1. Andy Carroll is a freelance reporter for the Springfield Daily Citizen and currently covers the Springfield Cardinals and the St. Louis Battlehawks for Scoops with Danny Mack. Previously, he contributed to the Springfield News-Leader's coverage of Missouri State athletes and high school sports in the Ozarks.
And from the Springfield Daily Citizen, Craig Wood wants U.S. Supreme Court to consider his appeal. A U.S. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh granted a request from Wood's attorney for an extension of time to file a petition. And we see a smiling picture of victim Haley Owens, who was just 10 years old when she was kidnapped and murdered in 2014. The Springfield man sitting on death row for the 2014 kidnapping and rape and murder of 10-year-old Haley Owens wants the U.S. Supreme Court to consider his appeal. Craig Wood, 58, was sentenced to death in 2018 by now retired Greene County Judge Thomas Mountjoy. Wood is an inmate at the Potosi Correctional Center. Wood appealed the denial of his 2019 post-conviction motion to have his death sentence vacated, but the Missouri Supreme Court affirmed Mountjoy's sentence on January 13, 2026. Online court records show Wood's appellate attorney filed an application for an extension of time to file a petition for a writ of certiorari, which would order the lower court, the Missouri Supreme Court, to deliver its record in a case so that the higher court, the U.S. Supreme Court, may review it. And what follows is a couple of shots of Wood and also a overhead picture of the Potosi Correctional Center. A clerk for the U.S. Supreme Court responded with a letter received on May 19th stating that Justice Brett Kavanaugh granted the request for an extension to June 24, 2026. Wood, who was a stranger to Owens, abducted the Westport Elementary fourth grader from West Lombard Street February 18, 2014, and drove her to his home. There, prosecutors say he raped her and then shot her in the back of the head. The next headline reads, Woods claims prosecutorial misconduct. Woods attempts to appeal his death sentence brought 2 constitutional claims, including prosecutorial misconduct and ineffective assistance of counsel regarding his defense attorneys at trial. The Missouri Supreme Court rejected Wood's claims that Greene County prosecutor Dan Patterson's penalty phase closing arguments constituted prosecutorial misconduct when Patterson argued that Haley's family wanted Wood sentenced to death. Wood's public defender, William Swift, made oral arguments on November 5, 2025 to the Missouri Supreme Court. He used most of that time to talk about statements Greene County prosecuting attorney Dan Patterson made to the jury during the penalty phase of Wood's trial. Quote, with your verdict, sentencing him to the ultimate punishment, you speak for Haley, the Greene County prosecutor said, followed by an objection from Wood's defense attorney. Quote, you speak for her family. What follows is a picture of a memorial service for Haley that was held on Commercial Street in 2014. A large group of people holding candles in memoriam. Swift argued that Patterson worked to keep out evidence that Haley's mother, Stacey Barfield, wanted Wood to be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Swift said Patterson was telling the jury over the defense attorney's objections that by imposing a death sentence, the jury would be speaking for Haley and for her family's wishes. As Swift made this argument, Justice Zell Fisher interrupted. Quote, that wasn't what the argument was, though, Fisher said. He didn't say that her mother wanted death. I mean, this was an argument that was brought up in the direct appeal. And it seems to me that this court's opinion in the direct appeal is somewhat similar to the trial court's judgment, that this argument was a send the message type argument, not that the family did or didn't want death as a punishment. In the January 13th decision, the Missouri Supreme Court wrote in part, Wood's claim is premised on his assertion the prosecutor knowingly made false representations that Haley's family wanted Wood sentenced to death. This court rejected the factual premise of this argument on direct appeal by holding the state did not argue any of Haley's family members wanted the death penalty, and this was a permissible, quote, send a message argument. The motion court did not clearly err by denying Wood's claims of prosecutorial misconduct. The Missouri Supreme Court affirmed Wood's conviction and death sentence in July of 2019. In November 2019, Wood filed a motion pro se without an attorney, asking the court to vacate, set aside, or correct the judgment of his conviction. This document was 6 pages long. Then on March 26, 2020, and with the assistance of an attorney, Wood filed a 231-page amended motion that contained 22 claims. Mountjoy returned to the bench in March of 2024 to oversee a 3-day hearing at Wood's legal's team had asked the court to vacate, set aside, or correct the judgment of his conviction and death sentence. After more than 3 months of deliberation, Mountjoy denied Wood's motion. Requests for comment from William Swift, the Assistant Public Defender representing Wood in this latest appeal, and Greene County Prosecutor Dan Patterson were not returned.
This is Springfield Daily Citizen. Springfield pedestrian fatally struck by car Thursday night and another critically injured. It's a picture here of the top of the police car with the blue lights. One Springfield man has died and another was critically injured after being struck by a car while crossing the road on Thursday night. Christian Berry, 32, and William Turner, 28, were attempting to cross a road at the intersection of Chestnut Expressway and Grant Avenue when a vehicle traveling east on Chestnut hit the two pedestrians, according to a May 22nd Springfield Police Department news release. Springfield PD officers responded to the crash at 9:52 p.m. Berry and Turner were both transported to a hospital. Berry later died from the injuries, and Turner remains hospitalized in critical condition. The families of Berry and Turner have been notified. The vehicle that struck the pedestrians, a 2018 Dodge Charger, was driven by a 17-year-old, according to the release. This was Springfield's 7th fatal motor vehicle crash in 2026. The circumstances of the crash are part of an ongoing investigation, according to police. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Springfield Police Department at 417-864-1810 or make an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers at 417-869-TIPS or 8477 or online at p3tips.com.
And from 417 Magazine, we've got some suggestions here for some things you might want to check out. Beginning tomorrow, Thursday the 28th, Kayvon is appearing at the Springfield Comedy Club. Now, there is an admission charge. He's been dubbed, quote, the most famous half-Persian comedian. He has a strong identity and hysterical storytelling tie and is known for appearances on NBC's Last Comic Standing and his clean, dry bar comedy specials. Beginning tomorrow, Friday, May 29th through Saturday, May 30th, Jason Mewes, Diary of a Man-Child. He'll also be appearing at the Springfield Comedy Club. Keep in mind there is an admission charge, and he is most closely associated with Jay and Silent Bob. He's also played Jay in other celebrated roles, including Mallrats, Clerks, Chasing Amy, and other movies as well. Little Shop of Horrors at the Lightroom Lounge at Martha's Vineyard, Friday, May 29th through Saturday, June 27th. The High Tide Theatrical puts its spin on this quirky 1980s play and film, Little Shop of Horrors, about a ravenous, murderous plant. The show is rated PG-13. You can visit their website for a complete list of dates and more information. And on Saturday, the Ozarks Food Truck Rally at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds will be held. It is free to enter, plus food and water purchases. 11 a.m. to 7 are the hour, and you can visit 20-plus local food trucks all in one place, including pizza, burger, tacos, sweets, and a whole lot more. There will be live music, also a beer garden, and guests will be the first to hear some big Ozark Empire Fair news, likely who will be performing this summer. There's Dirt Day at Lafayette Park from 10 to 2. It's a free garden-centric, family-friendly event hosted by the Woodland Heights Neighborhood Association. Cassidy Coffee Company and Social House grand opening at Cassidy Station will be holding their event all day. 417 Landers have fallen in love with Cassidy Station seasonal markets and their cheeky over-the-top pop-up bars. And finally, overnight guest adventures at Pythian Castle. There is an admission charge of $85 from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. Paranormal Task Force is hosting a spooky overnight ghost investigation at the castle, the night combining historical storytelling, ghost adventures, and responsible paranormal investigation practices, and even a midnight pizza party.
So we have this day in history. Robert E. Lee resigns from U.S. Army after Virginia secedes from Union. Colonel Robert E. Lee resigns from the United States Army 2 days after he was offered command of the Union Army and 3 days after his native state, Virginia, ceded. Also on this day in history, New York State adopts state constitution. The first New York State Constitution is formally adopted by the Convention of Representatives of the state of New York meeting in the upstate town of Kingston.
All right, and downtown, the Springfield Bookstore will be expanding, including a wider inventory. A downtown bookstore that recently dove into bringing back video rentals is expanding once again. This summer, Bookmarks announced it will expand in the space next door on Walnut Street, doubling their footprint. They're at 325 East Walnut Street, and it was a location that was recently occupied by Austin Boutique. And in a social media announcement, Bookmarks owner Jeff Arnett shared that the expansion will allow the longtime business to grow its inventory, add an expanded children's section, and create an intimate event and live performance space dubbed The Footnote. Congratulations. And we want to thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. And listen after we're live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU subcarrier airwaves, 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for more information on how you can receive a pre-programmed radio.